The morning after the fourth musical account left Iron Vane, the keep woke to bells it had not rung. The sound came from the road beyond the gate, small and bright and wrong, as if a chapel bell had been buried under snow and was calling from below the ground. Lyra Vane heard it first. She sat up in bed with her left hand closed around the chalk and her marked palm open on the blanket, and the broken circle in her skin answered the bell with a pale grey light.
It is not asking for me. It is counting me, and it is angry that I can hear it count.
Then we will not let it count you alone. Give me your hand, and keep the chalk where you can see it.
Seraphine did not call for a maid. She wrapped Lyra's palm herself, not to hide the mark, but to keep the cold from settling into it. The cloth warmed at once and began to smoke along the weave. In the great hall, Aldric stood before the long table with 3 open letters and 1 unopened packet. The unopened packet bore no seal. The wax had been pressed flat by a thumbprint that did not belong to any living courier in the gatehouse book.
No one touches the unsealed packet. If the dead office has learned to send without a seal, it has also learned to listen without a door.
It has always listened without a door, my lord. Doors were for us. The office preferred margins.
Sister Idra entered with her satchel already buckled. She had not slept. The ink on her fingers had darkened during the night until the tips looked almost black, and the veins under her skin had taken the same color.
You are ill, sister. Do not waste courtesy denying it, because I am too old to be soothed by lies. I am not ill. I am being indexed, and there is a difference.
Indexed by what? The clerk is dead. Vexlo is under our floor with a sword hole in him.
Vexlo was a hand. The office is a table. We cut off one hand, and the table has reached for another.
The answer settled over the hall without drama. It was worse for that. Cael looked at Lyra's wrapped palm and then at his own sword belt, and the boy who had killed Vexlo did not look proud of being useful.
If it wants a hand, let it take mine. I have already been useful to it once, and I would rather know the shape of the bargain.
No. That sentence is exactly what it wants from you. We do not volunteer our children to an office that eats names.
We find the table. Then we break the table, not the hands it reaches for.
The unsealed packet opened by itself. No wax cracked. No string loosened. The parchment simply unfolded in the center of the long table and showed a map of Iron Vane drawn in a hand none of them knew, with a road marked from the keep to the old tax house at Bellglass. Bellglass had been burned in Aldric's grandfather's time. No tax had been collected there for 50 years. No road went to it on any current map, but every old road in the kingdom remembered where taxes used to be paid. My lord, the king does not command Bellglass. If a mark has appeared there, it is outside the crown's present authority.
You are still here, envoy. You were told to leave yesterday.
I was told by the crown to remain near enough to witness your next mistake. I am beginning to suspect the crown did not know what it was asking me to witness.
Then witness carefully. If you lie later, we will have someone living who can contradict you.
The envoy bowed because there was nothing else intelligent to do. Outside, the bell rang again from beneath the road. This time every cup on the long table trembled toward the unopened map. They rode before noon. Aldric took 20 Vane riders, Seraphine, Cael, Wren, Sister Idra, and the envoy under guard. Ceryn remained with Lyra in the keep, but Lyra did not remain behind in the way adults mean when they use that word.
I can hear the road. It is under the horses. It is under the stones. It is under me even when I stand still.
Then we will stand where we choose. A thing beneath you is not the same as a thing above you.
At the gate, Seraphine knelt before her daughter and tied the smoking cloth again. She did not ask Lyra to be brave. Brave was too small a word for a child who had inherited a clerkship no one had asked her permission to carry.
Draw if you need to draw. Do not draw what it orders. Draw what you see.
What if I see something you do not want me to see? What if it is already there when I look?
Then I will learn to want the truth more than comfort. That is my work, not yours.
The road to Bellglass did not appear until they had ridden 3 miles east of House Vane. Then the grass opened in a straight line ahead of them, not flattened and not cut, but remembered. Hoofbeats sounded different on it, as if the horses had stepped onto a ledger page.
My lord, no cart has used this road in my lifetime. There are ruts in it anyway.
Then ride between them. We do not let old wheels choose our line.
At dusk, Bellglass rose from the marsh like a burned tooth. The old tax house had no roof. Its windows were empty. A bell hung inside the shattered upper arch, though no beam remained to hold it. The bell did not swing. It rang once when Aldric looked at it.
That is not a bell. That is a mouth pretending to be iron.
Then we do not answer it. We make it spend its voice first.
No. We make it answer us.
Sister Idra walked ahead before Aldric could stop her. Her satchel knocked against her hip. The blackened seal taken from Vexlow's chamber had grown warm enough to show through the leather. Inside the tax house, the floor had survived the fire. It was tiled with names. Not written names. Not carved names. Names pressed into the clay before firing, each one sealed under glaze until the letters could be felt by the foot but not read by the eye.
Do not look down too long. The floor teaches the eyes to kneel.
There are thousands of names here. I do not think any of them were taxes.
Then you will remember that the crown once collected more than coin in this room. You will remember it exactly when men ask you what you saw.
The first attack came without men. The eastern wall opened a narrow seam, and wind poured through it carrying the sound of stamped parchment. 3 Vane riders dropped their reins and reached for their own throats as if collars had appeared around them.
Hands down. Look at me. Your names are yours while I stand here, and I am standing here.
The riders breathed again. Aldric did not move until they did. Then he stepped into the center of the floor and drew his sword, not because steel could cut wind, but because men who are afraid need to see a line made visible. Above them, in House Vane, Lyra woke from a sleep she had not meant to take. She crossed the nursery in bare feet, found the chalk on the sill, and drew a circle on the stone floor. She left one side open.
Not there. Mother, not there. The second hand is not in the bell.
Where is it, child? Do not hurry for my sake.
Under the tax table. It is hiding where coins used to go.
Ceryn did not ask how Lyra knew. She sent a runner to the rookery with a message for Aldric, and then she sat on the floor beside the broken circle because the child had drawn it too large to sit beside alone. At Bellglass, Wren found the tax table by accident. She tripped on a loose tile, caught herself against a blackened slab, and heard something under the slab knock back. The knock came in the rhythm of a clerk asking permission to enter.
There is a hollow under this. Cael, help me. If it eats one of us, stab the table before you stab the air.
That is the most sensible order anyone has given today. I will obey it exactly.
They lifted the slab together. Beneath it lay a narrow stair descending into a dark that smelled of wet ash and old coin. The bell above them rang 3 times without moving.
Now it knows we found the proper door. Be quick, and be less proud than Vexlo was.
The stair led to a registry vault. Shelves lined the walls, but the shelves held no books. They held hands. Wax hands. Clay hands. Bronze hands. Hands cast from the right hand of every clerk who had ever served the office, each palm marked with a broken circle.
Do not touch them. Do not let your shadow touch them if you can help it.
The envoy made a sound like prayer. He had stopped pretending the crown understood what it employed. He stared at the rows of hands and saw, perhaps for the first time, that bureaucracy can become a religion if enough frightened men obey it for long enough. The king cannot know this. No sane king would leave this beneath a tax house.
A sane king may inherit an insane office and call it tradition. The alternative is admitting he has never ruled alone.
At the far end of the vault stood a small desk with a clean sheet of parchment on it. The sheet was blank. Beside it lay a pen made of white bone and a knife made of black glass.
There. That is the second hand. Not a person. A procedure.
Procedures can die. Someone made them, and someone can unmake them.
Only when someone with a recorded name spends it properly. That is why the office prefers to steal names young.
Seraphine understood before Aldric did. She turned towards Sister Idra, and for once her composed face opened around fear. Sister Idra smiled at her with almost maternal patience.
No. Tell me another method. You have had 40 years to prepare, so tell me another method now.
I had 40 years to avoid this method. That is not the same thing as finding another one.
Sister, if this is a death, I forbid it. I have buried enough friends under useful words.
You cannot forbid what was written before your house had walls. You can only witness whether I sign willingly.
I killed the clerk. I can do this part too.
No, child. You killed a man who thought making you gave him ownership. Do not honor him by believing usefulness is the same as debt.
She opened her satchel and took out the blackened seal. The seal had burned through the leather. It left a dark circle on the desk when she set it down, and every wax hand in the vault turned its palm toward her without moving. Then Sister Idra spoke the name none of them had heard before. Not Idra. Not Sister. Not the Abbey name. The first name, the one her mother had given her before the office found her margin.
I sign as Meredin Vale, daughter of Mara Vale, taken by Salt Hollow in the winter famine and indexed without consent. I reclaim the line that recorded me.
The blank parchment filled with writing too quickly to read. Seraphine stepped forward, but Aldric caught her wrist. Not to stop her from saving Idra. To keep her from being taken with her.
Meredin. Look at me. Do not look at the page. Look at me while you do it.
I am looking, Lady Vane. I have been looking for 40 years.
Sister Idra took the black glass knife and cut the marked skin of her own palm. The blood fell onto the blank page. It did not spread. It formed a single unbroken circle, and then the circle split itself open. Every wax hand in the vault cracked at the wrist. The bell above them rang once, not like a mouth this time, but like iron struck by ordinary force. The tax house shuddered. The road outside forgot one of its ruts.
She did it. The count lost a number.
Whose number, child? Tell me only if saying it does not hurt you.
Heryn. She gave it back wrong on purpose.
In the vault, Sister Idra fell to one knee. Seraphine reached her before she hit the floor. Aldric dropped beside them. Cael stood with his sword out because there was nothing left to strike and his body did not know what to do with that truth.
Do not carry me home as a relic. Burn me where the office counted me. Let the ash confuse the shelves.
You will have a grave at Iron Vane. I will not let your name disappear into a burned room.
No. Harad needed a wall. I need a mistake in their records.
Then you will have both. Ash here. Name at Iron Vane. I will not let them keep either whole.
Sister Idra laughed once, very softly. It was the youngest sound any of them had heard from her. Then she placed her blackened fingers against Seraphine's sleeve and left 5 perfect marks there, as if signing cloth.
Read the underside of the table. Vexlo never looked down. Proud men rarely do.
She died before the bell rang again. When it did, the sound was distant. Not defeated. Distant. The office had lost a room, not a kingdom. Cael and Wren turned the tax table over while Seraphine sat with the body. Beneath the slab, burned into the wood, was a map of the capital drawn from below, showing tunnels under the chancery, the royal chapel, and the nursery wing.
The nursery wing. Tell me that does not mean what I think it means.
It means the office has been near the royal children. It means the king may not be the highest hostage in his own house.
There is a prince in that wing. There are 2 princesses. If this is true, the capital is not ruling the office. The office is keeping inventory.
Then you will ride to the capital with us, not ahead of us. You wanted to witness my next mistake. You may yet witness my first useful trespass.
They burned Bellglass before dawn. They burned it from the vault upward, with Sister Idra's body wrapped in clean linen at the center of the old registry. Seraphine lit the first flame. Aldric lit the second. Cael and Wren lit the shelves. The road back to Iron Vane was shorter than the road out. Not safer. Shorter. The forgotten ruts vanished behind them one by one, as if the earth were ashamed of remembering. At the keep, Lyra stood at the gate with the chalk in her hand and Ceryn beside her. The mark on Lyra's palm was dimmer. Not gone. Dimmer. A child should never have looked relieved by such a small mercy, but she did.
She made it quieter. I can still hear it, but now I can hear myself too.
Then we will call that victory for today. We will not ask today to be larger than it is.
They wrote Sister Idra's first name in the chapel book that evening. Meredin Vale. They wrote Sister Idra beneath it. They wrote witness, scribe, widow, thief of the office, and friend of House Vane. Seraphine added one word after the ink had dried.
Free. That is the word they never wrote for you.
Aldric did not object to the word. He pressed the Vane seal beside it, and for the first time since Vexlo's death, the wax cooled normally. At midnight, the envoy came to Aldric's study without guards and placed his crown pin on the desk. He looked older than he had at Bellglass. Fear had done honest work on him. If I return to the capital alone, I will be corrected before I reach the chancery. If I remain here, I am a traitor by sunrise.
Then choose which truth you prefer to be punished for. Men like us rarely escape punishment, but we may choose its cause.
I prefer the truth that can still save the children in the nursery wing. I will ride with you. Aldric nodded once. Seraphine took the capital map from the table and placed 4 stones on it: chancery, chapel, nursery, river gate. Wren placed a 5th stone where no tunnel was marked.
There will be a servant's stair here. Houses that erase people always keep a stare for the people they pretend not to see.
Then that is where we enter. I would rather step through the place they refuse to guard.
No, that is where you leave if everything fails. We enter through the place they think only clerks can use.
Lyra slept through the council for the first time in days. In her room, the chalk lay on the pillow beside her open hand. The broken circle in her palm did not glow. It pulsed once every few minutes, like a distant heartbeat deciding whether to continue. Before dawn, Ceryn found a new mark on the nursery floor. Lyra had drawn it in her sleep. It was not a broken circle. It was a road, and at the road's end she had drawn a small square with 3 windows and no door.
Child, what is this place? Look at me before you answer.
The room where the next hand is waiting. It has no door because it thinks we are already inside.
Ceryn covered the drawing with a cloth and did not wake her. Some warnings are kinder when they are allowed to remain warnings until breakfast. At first light, the bells of Iron Vane rang for Sister Idra. They rang once for the Abbey, once for the witness, once for Meredin Vale. The 4th bell did not ring. The rope moved, but the iron refused. Aldric looked up at the silent bell and understood the courtesy in it. The dead office had not been destroyed. It had bowed. Somewhere under the capital, another hand had paused over a page.
Good. Let it pause. We ride before it remembers how to continue.
The new road did not wait outside the gate. This time, House Vane made its own road west, toward the capital, toward the royal nursery, toward the table beneath the throne, and toward whatever hand had learned to write after Vexlo died. Behind them, in the chapel book, the ink around Meredin Vale's name dried in an unbroken circle. Then, slowly, on its own, one side opened.